And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. It is 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, the live morning show where we come on and holding the self employed. Specifically, I'm looking to work more with real estate agents to help with focus and energy to get more of life and to become the best version of ourselves. Your host, your morning life coach, T Dog, checking in. And today will in fact be a check-in, and we're going to try and do some review and some planning on not only the show moving forward with the show and kind of the time changes with that. Additionally, like this week, if I'm being totally frank, getting up has sucked. But making a commitment and getting it done, trying to find that balance, it's in something I think that sets me apart in the coaching a little bit is I'm willing to admit that going through a lot of the hardships myself, such as trying to figure out the right time frame to get up, to get a suit on, and still go to bed enough to still get 8-9 hours of sleep. Like I'm sure it has something to do with really upping my exercise. And we're going to go through this and give ourselves some own advice. Let's go ahead to have this make a little more sense before I rant on a little too long. We'll go in, we're going to check out. Let's kind of get them up on a scrolling banner. We're going to get the 5 internal influences I think have the biggest impact on people, how they feel, how they're going about their day. And if you're ever feeling like shit, check into these 5 things to see how they're doing. Okay, number 1, sleeping. Internal influencer. Number 2, breathing. Number 3, exercise. Number 4, diet. Number 5, sobriety. Even that would. Okay, let's get these on. So, 5 internal influencers for how we feel, how we're doing, how we're going about our day. Number 1, sleeping. How is sleeping going? And as you're working on this, say if you're watching this later or if you're trying to get this down, this is a good little exercise to journal with. I do with my clients to kind of pull back, get centered in the moment, and try and give ourselves some good advice on what it is that needs to be a priority to kind of help us function, feel, and improve ourselves to bring out that best version of ourselves. Because as you can tell, whether it's me not smiling as much or trying to figure out where I'm personally at with this upcoming trip, trying to reorganize a few things with business, a lot of these things can slide, and then we're like, why do I feel like shit? How's that even possible? Well, it's usually comes back to one of these 5, and then the clarity and awareness to that, and just having someone who can support you and hold you accountable to making these improvements can be detrimental to whether we stay stuck or we continue to grow, overcome it, and use those obstacles as powerful experiences to help others. So back to it. Number 1. So say you got your journal out, you're just writing down sleeping. My sleeping has been, so as you're going through each one of these, kind of just reflect with yourself for a couple minutes, thinking out loud, maybe go for a walk. with no music, no podcasts, and you're kind of going over these 5 basic things, and you're kind of just thinking about a little bit, such as my sleeping. This week, I've watched a TV show a couple nights and watched a few extra episodes when I specifically talk about don't do that. And I get it. Sometimes you do it. Sometimes there's an enticing show that comes on and you want to. I'm going to adjust this camera real quick. Okay, much better. Sleeping. Watching TV shows a little bit can be dangerous. Watching them, staying up a little too late, and just measuring how much sleep you need, I think, is pretty important. I've been measuring trying to figure out, do I need to sleep 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours? And it kind of sucks, but I guess I just function the best when I sleep about 8.5, 9 hours. It's like, damn, dude, that's a lot of fucking time. But there's certain things that we pick, and there's certain things that we don't have a say in and choice on how we function and how we best function. And not only that, but yeah, that going to bed, whenever I don't go to bed, by 8 p.m. sharp, my ability to do this show and then continue working productively afterwards, very difficult for me. Very difficult. It's like I'm a morning person. I'm definitely fighting it. And sometimes it makes me believe that it defeats the purpose of the show a little bit, which is really tough for a life coach to be swallowing. But this is real life shit, and I lay it out bluntly to help other people. So yeah, just figuring out, my point being, figuring out your sleep and how much you need is the perfect metric, and it's not the same for everybody. I need a lot of it to function at a high level. I want to be working out a couple times a day. I eat like 3-4 small meals throughout the day, so I'm cooking a lot. Between kind of working couple companies and trying to plan trips and stuff. Everyone wears the busy badge. I get it, Tanner. Right. However, just the physical output, if I'm not sleeping that 8.5 hour range, I get pretty tired. So what can I do is I can better reappropriate what time I'm going to bed, and having the show planned out so I can go to bed and get up a little later. So such as possibly moving the show to 5:30 to help me, so I can literally get up at 5 myself, and then I just need to have the show planned the night before. Definitely have to have the show planned the night before. If I don't have a topic in range and I kind of come up here like a zombie, I am just absolutely fucked for content. So sleeping, re-engage your sleeping. How much sleep do you need? Try writing down a few times how much sleep you're getting, what feels good for you, when do you feel tired. Play a game of trial and error, and don't lie to yourself. There's a certain number that's going to work best for you. You just have to find it, stick with it. Moving on. Next, breathing. I've been stressed out a little more lately, trying to get a few things ready and having a few more deadlines. I haven't been stopping to breathe in between. The biggest thing is when you're going from, say, work back to home, you're driving home, just taking a minute or two to just pulling your attention to your breath and relaxing for just a second can be just what you need before you get into. And additionally, you can go days without sleep, you can go weeks without food, days without water, but you can only go minutes without breathing. And even though to a certain degree it is involuntary where you'll be like alive, if you want the best version of yourself, you're going to really need to sit down and force oxygen, a deep inhale through the nose, slow exhale throughout your mouth and your nose. I've been asked a lot, it doesn't matter where if you exhale out your nose or out your mouth. I personally like to exhale out my nose just to keep discipline for the airways in my nose. Like I just want to be disciplined and really train my nose to open up fully. Yes, trying to get it even a bigger nose, bigger nostrils. Just so when I'm sleeping, I don't have any habit of reliance of sleeping with my mouth open. That's a lot of people do that. A lot of people sleep with their mouth open and then they send their mouth's already open. So they inhale back through their mouth. And I just want to teach my body as much as I can to keep my mouth is for eating and drinking. It is not for breathing and exhaling. And plus, exhaling with your breath usually stinks. Mouth breather, when your mouth's open a lot, it usually more times than not, mouth kind of stinks unless you're really on top of brushing your teeth and stuff like that. So common etiquette, aside from just breathing. But we're talking about internal influences here. We're not talking about hygiene. So back to breathing, just making sure while you're transitioning through things a couple times a day, slow down and take a couple breaths. Whenever you're feeling like shit, pull back, take a couple breaths. Okay, on to number 3, exercise. And like the Buddha said, the middle way, I think there's a nice middle path. And like for all these options, right? Finding the rhythm and beat for yourself. Exercise. Lately, been pushing it a little bit harder, doing 2 workouts through the day, 2 smaller workouts. I'm not trying to paint the picture like I'm crushing weight for 2 hours each time, but about 20-30 minutes 2 times a day has really helped me with trying to get ready for an upcoming trip where we'll be outside quite a bit, doing a lot of movement. However, just understanding that you're going to need the nutrients to support your body in that. You're going to need the extra sleep to get that. And that's probably a combination of these things, as we'll go over in the end. Like just exercising and moving, making sure we're getting our body out there and moving to what it is that we want to do. And as I've gotten older, I'm a lot more functional based. Like I do a lot of body weight training, a lot of bands, a lot of stuff that's easier on your joints because I'm in this for the long haul. I don't need to blow anybody away on the bench press. You don't care what I bench press. I don't care what I bench press. So we're moving on from that kind of bullshit. But finding healthy exercise a couple times a day and figuring out like what works best for what I need to be doing, what I want to look like, what I want to feel like, and having those really written out and understood, and then creating an exercise plan around that, not the other way around. Not just because you see a bunch of meatheads pounding the chest 24/7, you're like, oh, I want to do that. And then you're like, oh, my shoulder's blown out. I don't know how this could have happened. Like, well, so exercise, checking back in that, making sure it's at where it's at. And then that physical output, be careful that you're not pushing yourself too hard, or being honest with yourself, like, man, I need to pick it up a little bit. Like you got to do more than 2 push-ups a day to kind of get some results. However, I don't think you need to do 103 times a day to kind of get closer to your goals and feel the benefits of energy. I'm an energy coach, And I give a lot of emphasis and focus on energy towards my real estate agent clients, and doing 10 to 15-minute exercises are really beneficial for energy. Anything over that, you start to fatigue out, and then the benefit of the workout for an energy perspective isn't as good versus just muscle building and like higher cardiovascular ability. But if you're looking to improve your energy for like your work day and your everyday working life, keeping your workouts to about 10 to 15 minutes and doing them 2 times a day, I've found by a landslide the best for like really perking energy. When you think of, so just try it sometime. Do like a 10-minute workout and then go about your day. For me, it feels like I just drank a cup of coffee. It's very nice, very relaxing, but with no jitters, and then a lot of the satisfaction. And then 10-minute workout, 5-10 minute cool down, a little bit of stretching, etc. Okay, exercising, diet. Talking about energy, food does not really give you energy. If you eat a big meal, or anytime you're immediately after you're eating and you start digesting food, you'll see that you're probably going to be a little tired. So being very careful about the timing of when you eat, what you eat, and again, always going back to that 15-minute rule. You eat something, you wait 15 minutes, and then you write down how you feel. And you just need to measure a little bit of the foods that work for you and don't work for you. I think a balanced diet is always best practice, not a nutritionist. And it also depends on the person. Like I know people who, like I myself, I do best when my only carbohydrates in the mornings before noon are like beans, bananas, oats, like things that like are non-processed, very digestible, very easy, very lax. But I also know a lot of people who function pretty well off of pasta, certain types of healthy pasta, whether grain, seeded, yada yada. There's a lot of options, and you just got to play around with what works for you. Some people can digest bread and handle it really well. Some people can eat meat and digest it really well. Certain people need really heavy amounts of fruits and vegetables. When in doubt, always start with fruits and veggies. That's what I always kind of anchor to: the blueberries, the bananas, the spinach, these types of like peppers and mushrooms and tomatoes, avocados, like these foods have always been a staple for me and an anchor to pull back when I want to feel better about my health, my body, my mind, and everything. So when it comes to diet, when in doubt, always go to fruits and vegetables to consume a meal, to have in a meal. And then again, playing with that 15 minutes after you eat. How do I feel now? Do I feel good? Do I feel bad? Excuse me. I feel like I have to sneeze again and I can't. It's incredibly frustrating, but we're going to keep rocking and rolling. So diet. Lastly, after food diet, we go to the classic that not many people in their 20s like to hear, or most of my real estate agent clients are in their 30s. So this usually tapers off a little bit and it's not too bad for people. But, for some people, it's really tough. And that is sobriety, being completely sober. Like the other weekend, I went to a wedding, drank way too much alcohol for multiple days in a row. And then on Monday and Tuesday, I was feeling pretty sad. It turns out alcohol is a depressant. Nicotine's really hard on you. It's unmotivating. And the mixture and the combination of any of these things, or even, unfortunately for me, I'm not anti-marijuana. I am just saying I personally function way better when I am completely sober compared to when I have like a one hitter or when I smoke before bed. especially when because that was usually more my speed, was just smoking a little bit of marijuana before bed to help me relax and this and that. But I don't even really need that to relax and to pass out, especially if I haven't drank any beer or had any alcohol along those lines. Excuse me. Anything along those lines. So trying to figure out more ways to, or just being honest with yourself. Am I consuming something that I don't want to be consuming? Am I being very cautious about what I put into my mouth and into my body? And life's a game of surprises. I don't know why I have this hankering headache, but I had 6 beers last night and I didn't drink very much water. Just being very clear and being very honest about your body, how you feel, because there's only one person responsible for how you feel. You got it. Back to you. I'm here to help and to support and to check in. So use these 5 internal influencers to try and check in with yourself, to check in with what it is. Sometimes we just need a tune-up, a pep talk, a plan, a realization to pull us back and give us enough motivation to take that next step with even just one of these. Like, man, really trying to improve. Don't fight the sleep thing too hard. It's like, man, it's okay. You need a little extra sleep. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I know I'm trying to be as productive and efficient as possible, but if you don't sleep properly or you're not matched with that, same going with the other metrics, just brainstorm, get down ideas that benefit you, for you, and we're almost to the half-hour mark. We're wrapping up for today. The 5 internal influencers I always like to pull back to and reassess before I make any reviews or changes and things along those lines as life gets chaotic. And we just sometimes need to pause, slow down, breathe a little bit, recenter, put together a few things that are exciting, that are in alignment with our values, that can help us make us better people so we can be better people for everyone else. Your morning life coach, the guy who's going to help you push yourself to become the best version of yourself. Again, please, if you know any real estate agent clients who are trying to reduce their stress, increase their productivity, and improve energy and focus, I'm your guy. You can direct them to talktotanner.com or have them message me personally here off of Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, where we're going live and streaming with our services. That is for now for me. And a special announcement, we're going to try starting the show at 5:30 tomorrow. I'm going to try and get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So look out on that. I can make a post later. But I'm going to go live at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow. And I'm going to try that out for the next 2 days before I go on my trip to kind of see if that's helpful, if that hurts, or kind of along the lines with that. But yes, checking in tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, because I'm trying to get that extra sleep myself, re-engage it. But also, so I need an extra hour of sleep. So I'm going to buy myself 30 minutes on the front end, because realistically I get up at like 4 a.m. So I'm trying to buy it on the front end, like 30 minutes, and trying to buy another 45 minutes on the back end when I get up in the morning. And we're going to see if I can bring more energy to the table, can be a little more conductive with my plan, not sound so ranty, and really get to the point for you guys and stay on top of it and keep improving. That's all we can do here. I'm not going to beat myself up, not going to feel bad about it, because we're up here, we're talking, going to get to work, get it started on some things, going to keep kicking ass and taking names. So doing what I love, helping people, growing, getting shit done, being in control, making an impact, all All amazing stuff. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks again, and I will be seeing you tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Cheers, friends. Talk soon. 5:30 a.m. tomorrow, Central Standard Time. Cheers.